to go ahead and get started. Welcome to the December 2nd Code Enforcement meeting of Seminole County. This meeting is taking place today in replacement of our November meeting, which we did not have because of Thanksgiving holidays. So we're going to start by asking Madam Clerk to conduct a roll call, please.
Rob Wolfram, Mike Bass,
Here.
Dudley Bates, Lori Patton,
Here.
Don Peterson,
Here.
Dennis Warren,
Here.
Jane Haynes,
Here.
Yvette Brown.
Here.
Thank you. We'll move on to the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the swearing in of witnesses. So if you are here to speak in any capacity after the Pledge of Allegiance, please remain standing so we can swear you in. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you're going to be speaking at today's hearing, please raise your right hand. Mr. Williams, do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth? Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to recommend that we change the order of the agenda slightly in order to accommodate the folks that came here today, and then we'll follow that with the people that aren't present as far as respondents go. And that would be, I would ask for a motion to take the cases in this order, 21-93 and 94 and 95, which can be found on page 1. And followed by case number 21-102 CEB, which is one case can be found on page 4, 21-34 CEB, which can be found on page 6, 21-33 and 34 CEB on page 5, 21-71, 72, and 73 CEB, which can be found on pages 10, 11, and 12. Can I get a motion to revise the agenda in that order?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Haynes, I believe, second by Mr. Peterson. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So motion carries. That's the order we'll go in, and then we'll follow it up by people that have not arrived. If you have not signed in yet, check in with the clerk, please. If you have, then you're good to go. What we're going to do, just prior to me calling the first case up, just explain to you, if you've never been here before, when we call you up, you and whoever you have with you that may be testifying can stand up here, and we're going to have you testify from there. The code enforcement officer will present their case. You will be given the opportunity to present your case. And this board I have to the next to me will be deciding on how to handle the case and what to do. So that being said, we'll start with case number, again, on page 1, case number 21-93 CEB. And we will, there are 3 cases attached to this respondent in this address, so we'll have the code enforcement officer present the 3 cases one at a time, and then we will have the respondent respond to those 3 cases. So, Officer Hill, looks like you're up first.
Thank you. Officer Hill, Seminole County Sheriff's Office, Code Enforcement, East Region. This is case 2193 CEB. The respondents Daniel L. Miller Jr., Laura A. Miller, and Leah Miller. I am submitting a copy of my PowerPoint to the clerk as Exhibit 1. Property is located at 1320 Arapahoe Trail in Seminole County. Violation charge, Seminole County Code, Chapter 95, Section 95.4 is defined in 95.3B, uncultivated vegetation. My initial inspection was July 29th. Notice to respondents was August 27th and September 13th, with compliance dates of September 9th and September 27th, with follow-up inspections including yesterday. The results of my inspection is the violation of uncultivated vegetation remains on the subject property. I'm taking a little page out of Officer Bavaro's book. These are the calls for service for history at this location for this year currently. The These photos were taken on my initial inspection on July 29th. Same date. These were taken on August 18th. These photos were taken on the same date. These photos were taken on September 10th. Same date. These photos were taken on September 30th. These photos were taken on the day of my posting for hearing on November 18th. Photos of the postings. These photos were taken yesterday. The suggested recommendation is based on the testimony and evidence presented in case 2193 CEB. It is determined that the respondents Daniel L. Miller Jr., Laura A. Miller, and Leah Miller are the owners of record located at 1320 Arapahoe Trail in Seminole County in possession or control of their property and is a violation of Seminole County Code Chapter 95, Section 95.4 is defined in 95.3B. It is further recommended the Code Enforcement Board issue an order for the respondents to correct the violation on or before midnight of January 4th, 2022. In order to correct the violation, the respondent must remove all uncultivated vegetation in excess of 8 inches in height from the subject property. If the respondent does not comply with the order, a fine of $50 will be imposed for each day the violation continues or is repeated. This concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Any questions for Officer Hill? Seeing none, we'll move on to the second case.
Officer Hill, Seminole County Sheriff's Office, Code Enforcement, East Region. I'm submitting a copy of my PowerPoint to the clerk as Exhibit 1. This is case 2194 CEB, located at 1320 Arapahoe Trail in Seminole County. Violation charge is Seminole County Code Chapter 95, Section 95.4 is defined in 95.3A, rubbish. My initial inspection was on July 29th, with notice to respondents on August 27th and September 13th, with compliance dates of September 9th and September 27th, with multiple follow-up inspections, including yesterday. The results of my inspections, the violation of rubbish remains on the subject property. These photos were taken on my initial inspection on July 29th. These photos were taken on August 18th. These photos were taken September 10th. Same date. These were taken on September 30th. These photos were taken on the day of posting, November 18th. They have begun some cleanup. They have this, when I was out on my posting for on the 18th, they have the dumpster. When I went there yesterday is now full. Now I'm not sure where all this stuff is coming from because this is not what I observed. I don't know if it's coming from the inside of the mobile home, but there is some cleanup being done. The suggested recommendation is based on the testimony and evidence presented in case 2194 CEB. It's determined that the respondents, Daniel L. Miller Jr., Laura A. Miller, and Leah Miller, are the owners of record located at 1320 Arapahoe Trail in Seminole County, in possession or control of the property, and is in violation of Seminole County Code Chapter 95, Section 95.4, as defined in 95.3A. It's further recommended the Code Enforcement Board issue an order for the respondents to correct the violation on or before midnight of January 4th, 2022. In order to correct the violation, the respondent must remove all the rubbish from the subject property. If the respondent does not comply with the order, a fine of $50 will be imposed for each day the violation continues or is repeated. This concludes my presentation.
Thank you. And I'm sorry, what was the date on the dumpster photo or you showed cleanup starting?
The dumpster appeared to be empty on the 18th, but then yesterday it was full.
Thanks. Any questions for Officer Hill? Seeing none, go to case 3, please.
Officer Hill, Seminole County Sheriff's Office, Code Enforcement, East Region. I'm submitting a copy of my PowerPoint to the clerk, Exhibit 1. It's case 2195 CEB, Daniel L. Miller Jr., Laura A. Miller, and Leah Miller, located at 1320 Arapahoe Trail. Violation charge, Seminole County Land Development Code, Chapter 30, Part 6, Section 30.102, uses permitted. Occupying a recreational camper is not a permitted use in an A5 zoning district. My initial inspection was July 29th, with notice to respondents on August 27th and September 13th. Compliance dates were September 9th and September 27th, with follow-up inspections including yesterday. Now, my PowerPoint says that is no longer in violation, but Ms. Leah Miller is here today, and she did tell me that the RV is still occupied. This is just a little bit of history of the occupied of RVs on the property. May 11th, there was an RV occupied by two individuals on the 21st of June, and it is currently being occupied by Curtis Portman and Crystal Lundy. And July 19th, the RV and there was a shed on the property that was being occupied, and on August 7th, the RV was still being occupied by Curtis Ortman, and these are all observations by deputies in their reports for calls for service out there. These photos were taken on July 29th with the RV door open. This is the photo same day somebody was entering into the RV. This photo was taken on September 10th. This photo was taken on September 30th, on the clothesline behind the RV, and an unknown female walking towards the front with her belongings. These photos were taken on the day of posting on November 18th. These photos were taken yesterday. The suggested recommendation is based on the testimony and evidence presented in case 2195 CEB. Is determined that the respondent Daniel L. Miller Jr., Laura A. Miller, and Leah Miller are the owners of record located at 1320 Arapahoe Trail in Seminole County, in possession or control of their property, and is in violation of Seminole County Land Development Code, Chapter 30, Part 6, Section 30.102, uses permitted. And it's further recommended the Code Enforcement Board issue an order for the property owners to come into compliance. I'm going to say keep the same date, January 4th, 2022, or a fine of $100 will be imposed for each day the violation continues. This concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Any questions for Officer Hill?
Yes, Officer Hill, could you put the slide back up there that had the service calls?
That's going to be case 2193.
That sheet, yes, thank you. Is that unusual?
For that area, not really for that area. But for any place, yes.
Seems harsh.
511 is death.
Correct. The respondent's father, that was her father's death. And then on July 4th, it was her brother's death.
Wow. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. I'm sorry, I didn't ask you to introduce yourself.
It's
when you
okay.
If you could introduce yourself.
My name is Leah Miller. I actually don't reside on the property. I've been trying to get control of that property since before my father passed away.
Okay, before you get into it, and your relationship is?
I'm the oldest daughter.
Oldest daughter, so you don't live at the property, correct? Okay. This is your opportunity to speak to the 4 issues that she just covered.
Okay.
So you'll need to incorporate them all, uncultivated vegetation, the rubbish, and the camper issue.
Okay.
We're not here for the call to service, that's just background for us, so
Right.
that's the stuff you need to cover. So the floor is yours. So.
Okay. So you are right about everything your slide shows. So I've been trying to get complete control of this property since before my father passed away, and it just so happened, I didn't know that there was such like a rush to do it because I didn't know he's going to die. So we were trying to get the property under my name only because we found out Daniel, which is the one that actually resides there, had switched the property over solely into his name illegally, and I had to have it reversed. He's been trying to get a hold of this property. Since my father passed away and my brother passed away, he has refused to let me do anything with that property. I've had one couple evicted off of the property already, which is that I was talking to you about the camper all the way in the back. That was before my father passed away. The 2 people that stay in the front, Curtis and Crystal, they refused to leave. They actually brought that camper to that property without our knowledge. Well, without my knowledge, my father told them before he died they could not put it there. They still moved it there. And now they refuse to leave. They're squatters. I've tried to go through the eviction process. They will not leave. The officers, I've had them called out to that property multiple times. They told me that even if I were to go through with the eviction process, Daniel has every right to sit there and say, oh, you guys can come back, and they are allowed to come back. So it would honestly, for me, it'd be a waste of money to even like keep pushing eviction, because Daniel's gonna let them back. Daniel, to me, he hasn't been diagnosed, but he's mentally unstable. I mean, you guys saw the police calls. He's called the police on himself multiple times. I need to figure out a way how to get him off of the property so I can do something with that property, but I haven't had any chance to like really research it because it's a hard situation because he is an owner of that property also. So I'm not at this point, like I feel like I'm at a loss. I don't know what to do.
Okay, the property looks like it's in the name of Laura and Daniel
And myself.
and yourself. That's your brother and sister?
Yeah, my sister lives in Miami. Daniel is the one that resides on that property and refuses to leave with all of the people on there. And then I live in Castleberry.
Okay.
So like I said, I'm not sure at this point what I'm able to do in order, because if I can get him removed off the property, then I can get everybody else removed. And then I can go over there and start cleaning out that property like me and my dad had discussed before he had actually passed away. But with the state of mind that Daniel's in, he is not going to cooperate with me whatsoever. And I actually expected him to be here today since he lives there, and he didn't come. The paperwork, the only reason why I found out about it is because he actually contacted my sister and told me that it was posted at the property, and he thought that I had something to do with it. And I told her, I was like, no, I didn't know anything about it. He refused to send me the information for that paperwork, so I had to get it myself. And I don't want to lose the property, so I want to take care of it, but I have to figure out how, like I said, how to get him off and all of those people off, and I'm not sure what to do at this point.
Yes, you look like you. Go ahead.
Your sister, what's her status and her feelings about this thing?
She wants to sell the property, and she knows, she couldn't drive down here today because she's working. I took off work to come today. She knows the situation. She knows how our brother Daniel is and how things have went downhill pretty much for him. So she knows. And she, like I said, she wants to sell the property. She said she's willing to like help me take care of the property as well as fix it like back to how it was before my mother passed away, which is really at the time when the property started going downhill because my dad pretty much just like gave up at that point. And that was about 10 or 11 years ago she passed away. So she's on the same page as me. It's Daniel.
Mr. Chairman?
Ms. Haynes?
You mentioned earlier that he titled the property himself illegally. What's the status now? Who's the legal owner?
It's under all three of us again. Before my dad had passed away, we found out because this is how I found out. My dad had a life insurance policy on him before he died, and I got a call from them because there was a fraud case put against that policy because Daniel called in pretending to be my father. He went ahead and switched the whole policy solely into his own name.
Wow.
Yeah, so with that being found out, I had that reversed because my father verified that it was my brother's voice on the phone. I did, and so did my sister. I believe the case is still open and pending. I'm not 100% sure since my dad died. Things changed like that. So with finding that out, I was like, you know what, Dad, I'm going to go ahead and check everything else because it seems like Daniel's trying to get control over everything. And that's exactly what he did. When I called I believe the property appraiser's office is who I called. I called somebody that dealt with the property. Found out that Daniel had changed everything solely into his name and my dad's name. So if my father were to pass away, Daniel would get that property. Well, they had sent out paperwork that I guess was not returned, and they went ahead and reversed everything back into myself, my three siblings, Daniel, Laura, and Matthew, in my father's name. Well, Matthew passed away, so he got removed. My dad passed away, he got removed. Now it's just the three of us. So I actually had the paperwork at home where Daniel had forged my sister's name. He did it with his friend Sebastian and a couple other people. And I spoke with the police about that. They said in order to a police report, I have to file everything and I have to have physical proof, which I do have the physical proof. But as far as filing everything, once again, I'm not sure how to do that. Because at that point, it's pretty much like a he said, she said, because they don't know where I got that paperwork from, you know. But I did find all the paperwork in his bedroom because at the time my dad passed away, Daniel was incarcerated. And I went in the bedroom and I took everything out of there. And that's how I found out all of the stuff my brother was doing to my father because he was committing a lot of fraud. And he did identity theft on my dad and as well as on my brother Matthew that passed away.
Have you sought any legal advice?
I've tried. It's hard. I'm a single mom with 3 kids, so my life is really busy. I've tried sorting out legal advice. All of the advice I've gotten, they said go to the
Legal aid?
not legal aid, some library and research it myself, which I honestly don't have time to. I've tried researching it online, and there's I mean, to me, it's like, it's confusing kind of, but there's really not that much information because it's hard because, like I said, Daniel owns that property also. And he's the main, I mean, to me, he's the main issue. I have to get him removed in order to get everything else taken care of. And I haven't figured out a way how to get that accomplished.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to find the answer at the library.
Yeah, I know.
Someone may write a book on this case and put it up there, but
Yeah.
Can I give you the number legally? Do you have a means of writing something down?
I don't have a pen. If,
Okay. Well, Seminole County Bar Association Legal Aid.
thank you.
It
I can
probably
write on
might be-
these.
Okay, you ready? It's
Yeah.
407-834-1660.
Okay.
They may not have the answer, but at least they can guide you. They may be able to help you.
Okay.
But, you know, the fact that you and your sister have 66%, you know, maybe is something, I don't know, but I would
Yeah.
suggest calling them, let them know that you're dealing with code enforcement, and there's issues going on that may cost you money, and
Okay.
you know what to say from there. I don't know, I do know this, that the board's about to make a finding whether or not there's a violation, and then
Yeah.
fines will kick in after a certain point. So if you know, this would be your opportunity if you think you can come into compliance, and when you would need to do that. It sounds like that may not be the issue.
Yeah, I'm fully able to comply with it. It's just he's refusing to do anything. Like, yes, they did get the trailer or that dumpster. I found that out a few weeks ago because I don't talk to him. He will not respond to any of my phone calls, texts, or nothing. And I could drive out there, but every single time I drive out there, the people that stay in that camper towards the front, they absolutely hate me. So it always becomes a fight with them, and I end up having to call the police out there to control them because they will not leave me alone. So,
I have one more question for Officer Hill. It sounds like, you know, the uncultivated vegetation and the trash rubbish is something maybe you can do. The camper, does that need to be moved, or do people need to be moved out of it?
People need to move out of it.
And there you go with the
There you
eviction
go.
issue and all that. And so, okay, anything else on either of these three cases?
I know I have to call this number to get legal advice, but how would I go about moving it? Because they put it there without our knowledge. Oh, well, I mean, my dad had the knowledge that they put it there, but they were not supposed to leave it there. They said they were bringing it there, and they were supposed to take it somewhere else, and they ended up leaving it there.
Somebody with a bar card probably needs to answer that for you. I don't know,
Okay.
Legal aid people can help you with that.
Okay.
hopefully. Any other questions for Ms. Miller?
I guess I don't think, so you understand, we appreciate your willingness to try to resolve this.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we can't, there's not anything we can do in that regard. Our job is to deal with what's actually there and deal with those issues. Unfortunately, that's somewhat adverse to your position, and we wish we could help you more, but there's nothing we can do about that. We have to
Yeah, I know.
deal with what's actually there and what we're empowered to deal with, so, just so you know.
Is there a motion? We'll take them one at a time. Case number 21-93 CEB. Recommendation by staff is to have it in compliance by January 4th, or a $50 per day fine.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Patton, second. Do you have a second?
I'm going to throw something out. Maybe, since she's willing to try to get this done, maybe if we give her like a couple more months to give her a little leeway before this thing slams her in the face, I would ask that maybe we consider maybe giving her a couple more months, so she's got some chance to try to resolve this before we hit her with that. So, because
The one we're talking about is mowing the grass.
Right.
I understand. I mean, I think that all
And-
three of these issues are going to be.
Right, well, and she's also told us that she has little to no control over what's going on at that property, and whenever she does go out there, law enforcement's called, which is not fair to her. But somebody just needs to keep the grass mowed, and if she goes to legal aid and starts using whatever process she can use there, we can always adjust those and we can waive later.
I'm not talking about waiving, I'm just saying, I'm in favor of the motion, but give her a couple of months before we start, is all my amendment would say. And let's say 2 months, 2 additional months, so it's just, March or something. What would be,
Ms. Patton, would you want to alter, change your motion, or keep it the same?
I want to keep it the same. I don't think it's
Okay.
going to do any good.
Okay.
I appreciate it and I respect it, but I don't think it's going to matter.
Ms. Hames, I think I heard a second.
I
Are you-
did, second.
Okay. Motion on the floor is to find there's a violation and it needs to be in compliance by January 4th or $50 a day fine. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Me.
So that motion carries. 21-94 CEB is the rubbish case. The staff recommendation is compliance by January 4th or $50 a day fine. Is there a motion on that one?
I'll make a motion.
Mr.
I'll
Peterson?
make a motion that we accept staff's recommendation with the exception of, I think she does need time to get all of that situated, so I would extend that from January to February to March.
March.
We can do it by meeting date or whatever y'all think.
Meeting date would be the 24th. It's open, whatever you think.
That works for me.
Second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Peterson, second by Mr. Bass, to March, putting a compliance date of March 24th on that particular case, again, 2194 CEB, March 24th or $50 a day fine. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And the last one is 21-95 CEB. We'll call it the camper case. Is there a motion on that? The recommendation is the same as the last, except the fine is $100 per day.
I'll make a motion that we accept staff's recommendation, except we extend that to March 22nd as well.
24th?
24th, sorry.
Okay.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Peterson, second by Mr. Bass to find there is a violation and put a compliance date of March 24th or $100 per day fine. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. That's what we've done. We've got a couple different compliance dates. Get the long cut first, it looks like, and then I would suggest calling legal aid.
Yeah, I'll call them today. Am I going to get a list of all this? Or like a paper to like print out?
You will not. You can take some notes. If you want to wait till the officer gets free, she can, if she remembers it, go over it.
Okay.
You got January 4th is the compliance date for the uncultivated vegetation. March 24th are the other two compliance dates.
Okay.
Rubbish and the camper.
Okay.
As a courtesy, you could ask the clerk and the officer to put you on a list so that you can get mail sent to you.
Okay.
I don't know if that's something they're willing to do, but because she's not getting it, perhaps they might be willing to send her a courtesy copy.
Okay. 'Cause
Talk to them about it.
I've tried changing the mailing address because Daniel keeps switching it to the P.O. box, and it's supposed to go to the actual physical mailbox at the end of that road, and he keeps changing it. That way we don't get anything else. But yeah, if somebody can send it to me, that would be great.
She is correct on that, because one of my notices got sent back to me that the PO box was not correct.
You really need to speak to an attorney.
I know. I know, I'm going to.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
The next case, the order we have is case number 21-102 CEB. It's found on page 4. Jeremy Price, Avenue C, Geneva, Florida, 32732. Oh, sorry. Yep.
Helen Street. Castleberry, okay, 327. Okay, I'll send you courtesy. Thank you.
Good afternoon. If I can get your names and your relationship to this case?
I'm Jeremy Price.
Glenn Williams.
And your relationship, Mr. Williams?
Pardon?
Your relationship to the case?
No, I'm the previous owner.
He's the
Okay, thank you. Okay, Officer Hill, whenever you're ready.
Officer Hill, Seminole County Sheriff's Office Code Enforcement, East Region. I'm submitting a copy of my PowerPoint to the clerk as Exhibit 1. This is case 21-102 CEB, Jeremy Price, located on Avenue C. It is a vacant commercial parcel Violation charges Seminole County Land Development Code, Chapter 30, Part 41, Section 30.762, uses permitted. The storage of inoperable vehicles is not a permitted use in a C2 zoning district. My initial inspection was on February 23rd, 2021, with notices to the respondent, including this complaint came in while we were tolling during COVID, so a courtesy letter was sent March 1st, and then there were notices sent and verbal notices given to Mr. Price because we spoke pretty frequently for a while. Compliance dates on March 30th, May 9th was a verbal, July 25th, November 9th, and October 11th was a verbal, with multiple follow-up inspections, including yesterday. The results of my inspection, the violation of storing inoperable vehicles and motor vehicle parts in a C2 zoning district remains on the subject property. These photos were taken on my initial inspection, February 23rd, 2021. Now, go back, Vinny, please. So the photo on the right is actually not his parcel. It is the vacant parcel next door to him. There are so many inoperable vehicles that they were starting to park them on the neighboring property. These photos were taken on February 23rd as well. They were parking vehicles county right away. Mary Robinson sent them a notice of violation in reference to all the inoperable vehicles on county property. These photos were taken, the one on the left was taken on June 17th, showing that the vehicles were removed from county right-of-way. The other photos were taken on June 24th. Those are they were located on the C2 zoning. These photos were taken on June 24th. These photos were taken on July 29th. These photos were taken on August 11th. These were taken on October 12th. So on October 14th, I was in the area coming from another re-inspection, and I watched a vehicle no tag with, it's hard to catch because they were driving past me, and realized what was going on with front end damage driving through the neighbor's property because there's a path that leads into the back of their C2 zoning. These photos were taken yesterday. So the vehicles that are supposed to be on this property have to be operable and they have to be for sale, and these are not. The suggested recommendation is based on the testimony and evidence presented in case 21-102 CB. It's determined that the respondent, Jeremy Price, is the owner of record located at Avenue C, the vacant commercial located in Seminole County, in possession or control of the property, and is in violation of Seminole County Land Development Code, Chapter 30, Part 41, Section 3762, uses permitted. It's further recommended Code Enforcement Board issue an order to the respondent to correct the violation on or before midnight of January 4th, 2022. In order to correct the violation, the respondent must remove the storage of inoperable vehicles and motor parts on the C2 zone property. If the respondent does not comply with the order, a fine of $100 will be imposed for each day the violation continues or is repeated. This concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Any questions for Officer Hill?
Yeah, what's the maximum fine for this violation?
$250.
And this, see the address is Avenue C, there's no numericals, there's no structure on this?
Correct. There's a structure on the adjacent parcel which is zoned industrial. And this is zone C2 and this is vacant.
Industrial C3?
2.
2. So they couldn't park them on the other side irregardless? It couldn't be?
There's the parcel, the industrial parcel is very, very small. It has Pete's Garage located on it. There's really no room for that.
There's an active garage and this is associated with it.
Correct. And so, I mean, they can have vehicles on that C2, but they have to be operable per the county. They have to be operable and they have to be for sale. There's also an RV too that is sitting there that also needs to be for sale. I've been told it's been sold. I was told they were going to sell it, and it's still there.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for Officer Hill? Seeing none, Mr. Price or Mr. Williams, it's your opportunity to speak on behalf of the issue that we're here for today.
All right, so we've gotten to this point because I have spent a lot of time cleaning up those vehicles, but each time code enforcement came out, it was a different story. The initial complaint was all the cars on the outside of the fence. So there was cars on the adjacent property that is not ours, and there was a bunch of cars across the street right here that weren't our vehicles. But I bought this property from Glenn here 3 years ago, and none of those vehicles are mine anyways. So it's fine trying to get them to cleaned up. But I actually went down to zoning and planning also, and I was asking them, because there's a confusion of what we could store on the C2 property, and they told me that we were grandfathered in, because there's always been cars out there. My parents lived out there since 1995. There have always been cars on that back lot. Pete's owned the place since 1986. He always had cars back there. And I was told we were grandfathered in, and it didn't make a difference whether they ran or they didn't run. Right now, there are 6 or 7 cars back there that don't run and drive, but the other ones back there on that lot right now do run and drive. Technically, I could move the 6 or 7 closer to the industrial side of the property, but I just wanted to come here to clarify what we can and cannot do on the property, because I'm trying to do my best to get everything up to where it should be.
Just so you know, when it comes to what you can and can't do, we ask her, so she was the one telling you, but I hear you. Are there any questions?
Right, so, I know she's Seminole County Code Enforcement, but zoning and planning is like completely different. I'm getting 2 different stories.
She enforces.
When I owned it, they said if I build a fence around the whole property, it'd be all right to keep them vehicles back there. So I went to the expense of building a fence all the way around it. So it's all fenced in. I was there 38 years, so. And that building was built back in 1912, so the road frontage there is real, you know, isn't like it is today. It's not set way back.
Are you all aware of any laws or codes that may have changed legally over the years where you said you were grandfathered in? I mean, grandfathered in from what? Just buying something because something was done maybe improperly doesn't grandfather you in.
Correct, but that's what I was told when I went to zoning and planning. One of the girls at zoning and planning actually lives in Geneva. When I went down there to talk to Mary, she came up and she was like, yes, she didn't say that it was grandfathered in, but she's like, yes, Pete, I lived out there since I was a little girl, and there's always been cars on that back lot.
Ms.
Mr.
Haynes.
Chairman, Officer Hill, could I ask the nature of the complaint? Who complained?
The complaint came from Commissioner Zembauer's office.
Oh, so one of the residents contacted the commissioner's office? Is that how that works?
I don't believe that, so I believe it came from the aide.
I see. Okay, thank you.
But I will tell you that June 24th, we did have this conversation about being grandfathered in because he did come up here. And when he did tell me that, I did speak with Tiffany, and there is no grandfathering in, which I explained to him, and I have explained to him in the past because we also spoke with Kathy Hamill. And these vehicles, he knew from the beginning that these vehicles were not. Now, the issue in the beginning, and which wasn't a code violation on my part, was the vehicles that I was under the understanding that were inoperable, that were on the outside, belonged to the previous owner from Pete's Garage. But I had told Mr. Price, he said that the vehicles, they would be removed. He did get a crusher. He did remove a lot, but there are still inoperable vehicles, and we've had the conversation. He said that the RV was going to go up for sale. I heard 2 different stories about that. He said that, I mean, it is hard to tell if anything's going to be for sale because you do have that fence there, but that is what the zoning is. And I did tell him they have to be operable and they have to be for sale. And so when I gave him his last notice, unfortunately his family did get sick, and so I gave him more time to come into compliance, but it kind of just stopped. And then there was another junked vehicle parked on the neighboring property. Again, there was I think it was a red Corvette. It's been removed now, but it's been an issue from the beginning.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Or a motion?
Mr. Price, how much time do you need to get in compliance with Seminole County Code?
So which ones do I need to get in compliance? Just the ones that don't run and drive? Because there's probably 12, 15 vehicles that do run and drive. We buy cars from an insurance auction. They're wrecked. and we rebuild them, and we resell them with a rebuilt title. So there's going to be cars back there that don't run at the time, but we're going to fix them. But right now, there's 6 cars that I have that are parts cars. So we buy them, and we use the parts on those to fix the ones that we buy in the future.
I think that's the problem.
That sounds like the problem. It sounds like you're doing business in an area that is not, that you're not zoned for.
Well, half of it is. So
Right.
you're saying
So
that
I'm saying that maybe you need to talk with your personal attorney about what you can and can't do, because we can't advise you on that. But our job is to get your attention when you are not compliant with Seminole County Code, which it sounds like it is, according to Officer Hill.
Okay, so there's 6 or 7 vehicles that don't run or drive. Those are the only ones that are an issue right now. The other ones that do run and drive
That's
can be
between-
parked on the property until we get to them?
That's between you and Officer Hill.
Have to be for sale.
I can't be your lawyer, I'm sorry.
All right, so
Those
for sale,
questions
what do
you're
I got to
asking.
do? I just have to stick a for sale sign on in the back on the fence where nobody can see back there?
If I can, Mary Moskowitz, Planning and Development Manager. So what I would recommend, if he wants to know what he can do on the property, is to apply for either a pre-application conference, and if you explain to staff what you'd like to do, we can do the research and see what that is, and then what you would need to do in order to be in compliance with the code. So you could do a pre-application conference, or if you'd like something in writing to say what the allowable zoning is, you could do a zoning confirmation letter, and that would confirm what the allowable uses would be on the site.
Okay. I was also told one other time, as long as there's a building back there, which there was at one time, that there could be cars back there.
So I can't verbally speak to this without doing the research, so I'd have to look in to see what was there. But if you went through the process, we could go through that. But we do not give out verbal information. You would need to have the information in writing.
Okay.
How much time would that process take him?
So a zoning confirmation letter takes about 2 weeks to get in, and then the pre-application conference takes about 2 to 3 weeks, depending on when he files the application. And then whatever action he would need to take to do that, depending on, if there was a special use, a special exception permit or something needed, whatever time that would take. And there's no guarantee that those types of permits would be allowed.
That's my question.
Sorry to your question.
No.
So my motion would be to accept the recommendation, but give him till our March meeting date to comply, and that would give him time to go through the process suggested by Ms. Moskowitz.
Yep.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? And I have one question for him before we move. Is that something you're willing to do, or are you not willing to set up a conference to do what she just said is an option?
No, I'm willing to do that.
Okay. Okay. Motion by Ms. Patton, second by Ms. Hames to table this.
No.
Oh, to find there is a violation, giving a compliance date of March 24th, or the $100 per day fine would kick in.
Right.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So what we've done, we've extended the compliance date to March 24th, and hopefully you can get some positivity out of that. Thank you for coming in today.
Thank you.
Next case is CEB 2134, can be found on page 6. Scott Linville, 2352. No, I'm sorry, jumping ahead here.
Page 5.
2134 is on page 5, thank you. Christopher Bedoin and Jamie A. Worstel, 305 Miller Road, Sanford, Florida, 32773. And once you all are comfortably seated, if you could tell me your names.
My name is Michael Peters. Christopher could not be here today because of, he's got to be running his business over in Pinellas County.
Okay, and you're a friend, family member, neighbor?
Family member, okay.
Okay. And your name, ma'am?
Jamie Warstill.
Okay.
I'm Christopher's wife.
Sure is. Okay. We have two cases for you here. Excuse me, yeah. So we're going to start with the first one, which is actually going to be 21-33 CEB, same address.
And what is that?
We're going to explain it in just a minute. We'll explain both of those to you. Officer Bavaro will go over both of those one at a time, and we'll give you an opportunity to speak to those. These are lien requests, by the way. So, Officer Bavaro, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, sir. Officer Bavaro, Seminole County Sheriff's Office Code Enforcement, case 2134 CEB.
33.
I'm 33, if we can start.
Start
I
with
said
33.
Okay, you want to start on 33?
Yeah.
If we could.
Officer Bavaro, Seminole County Sheriff's Office Code Enforcement. This is case 2133 CEB. The property is located at 305 Miller Road in Sanford. This case was originally heard by this board on August 26, 2021. An order was issued giving the respondents a compliance date of September 23, 2021. In order to comply, they must have removed the remains and rubble of a structure from the property. An affidavit of noncompliance was filed by myself after reinspection on September 28, 2021. So based on the findings and facts, conclusions of law and order issued on August 26, 2021, the Code Enforcement Board issued an order imposing a lien in the amount of $7,000 for 70 days of noncompliance from September 24, 2021 through and including December 2, 2021. And the fine shall continue to accrue until at $100 a day until compliance is met. We did do an inspection per the Code Enforcement Board order on September 28th, 2021. We noticed zero change from the initial start of the investigation into the complaint from 3/11 of 2020. So there was zero change to the property. I did get a call from the respondents on 10/5/2021. They requested to appeal the Code Enforcement Board's decision. Unfortunately, by that time, it was 30 days past the hearing, so no appeal was done. So essentially, I told them, was it you that called, ma'am?
I think you spoke to my husband.
No, I spoke to a female.
Did you, then you would have spoken.
I spoke with you, okay. So she had said that, the Mustang, the green Mustang in the picture did run. It's,
Oh, it does.
It's evident to me that it has not moved since 2020 at the earliest.
It was my
We'll
deceased
get to you in
son.
just a minute, ma'am. Thank you.
And I was actually the one that told them to either do the special request or to show up at today's hearing to dispute the charges. So that concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Let's go ahead and talk about these one at a time. So any questions for Officer Bavaro on this particular lien request?
Make sure,
Yes, sir.
33 has to do with the structure,
Correct.
and then 34 has to do with,
Correct. I just put that up just to reflect your memory.
gotcha.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Okay. And the structure, the issue, it needs to be removed, the remains.
Removed or repaired, yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, ma'am, right now we're talking about case number 2133 and, sir, 33 CEB, which deals with the structure, the remains of rubble, okay?
Right, we've already, so far, we've got that cleared out and ready to rebuild.
Well, it's not what we just heard.
It's a carport,
Yes, ma'am.
and we've already, so far, can I say one thing?
Yes, ma'am?
Thank y'all. And I know this sounds crazy, but I love my husband, been married to him over 31 years, wouldn't trade him for nothing, but the man is a hoarder. And frankly, I'm glad, because I've been begging for 31 years, do something about this or get it gone. Well, praise the Lord, people have stepped in. Travis, that lives 3 doors down, he's taken the bread truck, the Pepperidge Farm truck, because he's starting a landscaping business. He was going to pick it up this past Sunday, but he ended up having to work, so he said he'll meet us this Sunday. Because what we do is close the shop on Saturday, drive over to the house, and then we start working all the way through until we have to leave Tuesday morning to go back and open the shop. The boats are leaving. Praise you, Jesus.
Well, let me, and you can talk to me in just a minute, just want to share with you, we're here to, we've already heard the case, he gave a little background, the remains of the rubble, it's my understanding it's still in non-compliance, which is why we're here, and the issue before this board today is whether or not to impose the lien that is out there to be imposed. And your job is to tell us, if you want, why we shouldn't be doing that, but going to the side issues of the case probably aren't real relevant here. But whatever you think, we shouldn't be imposing this lien, and again, the floor is yours. But
Well,
Wait, Jim. The structure in question is the carport, correct?
yes.
When was the last time you actually looked at this carport?
We were last out there on September 28th, per the Code Enforcement Board order to conduct a reinspection.
As of last weekend, there have been structural repairs done to it. There have been braces put up under it to get it supported in a safer manner. I'm not saying it's done yet or that it's completely safe, but at this point, it is no longer in danger of falling down. As far as the rubble, what are you referring to? What does that word
The
specifically
remains or the rubble, I'm not going to
I know what I'm...
rehear the case.
I'm
That's
not.
what
I
we're
need
here
to know...
for. But I just looked up, and there's no permits to either demolish or repair that structure.
I didn't know I was supposed to. I don't
Yeah,
know.
neither
what
did
it was.
I didn't know I needed to get a permit
To
to put
replace
up a
what was
couple of
already there.
2x4s.
You may want to start with the building division before you get started on any demolition or repairing.
Oh, okay.
Just a
well,
suggestion.
May I? Hang on,
Okay.
darling.
So we're supposed to get rid of it, and that's the violation you posted, but we got to go pay somebody for a permit to get rid of it?
I would suggest you speak to the building division before you
Hang
get
on.
started.
Okay. At this point, we're trying to push the place into compliance.
Definitely.
You've got 3 old people with various medical conditions who only have the weekends to work on. Like she said, the boats, the 1-ton are going. The
Pepperidge Farm
property's been
truck.
cleaned up so that we can get to the area that we need to do this. We're trying to take care of it.
This Sunday, praise Jesus, I've got a man coming. The boats that are at issue, I'm giving them to him just for him, taking them away. You know, yes, it's a loss of a bunch of money. There's even the, what do you call them?
Trailers.
The trailers are worth thousands of dollars, but I don't care. What I care about is, I'm so thankful that all that mess is going to get gone, frankly.
That's got nothing to do with it.
And so I need to talk to the building department to see about, I need a permit to redo the carport that was already there.
Yeah, you may either want to tear it down or repair it, but...
Oh, we're repairing it, definitely.
If I may ask a question, Mr. Chair. Since 10/5, when we spoke on the phone, what physical labor has been done at the property?
Oh my gosh, all the land is done, cleaned up, you know, brush, grass, everything.
So-
Hang on, darling. We've taken down and removed all the damaged wood and everything like that and gotten rid of it. I've got the Mustang, it's gonna stay. That was my son's, he passed away 4 years ago. So I really have been not right in the sense of being able to do, I'm not ready for that. It's his car. And I'm gonna get it back on the road because it was my son's. And that is an $80,000 Mustang. It's a one of a kind. And yes, it runs. It does have a blown O2 sensor, so it'll put black smoke out, but oh, she runs. But the thing is, the carport's gonna be redone, new. I'm gonna redo the whole thing. And the vehicles, they're going. The man's coming to get the boats. He's supposed to meet us maybe this Sunday and come get the boats removed. Travis is coming to get the bread truck because he's going to use that for his landscaping business.
1 second. Travis has already been out there and put good tires under it. He's just waiting until he can either get the registration or get it towed down the road.
Right. So let me read it. So the bread truck is still there, correct?
Right.
And it is still inoperable?
No, it's actually not inoperable, but he needs...
So for example, you could get in it right now and drive it down the road if it was presumably tagged and registered and insured?
I think so, yes.
Is that?
I mean, I'm not a mechanic, but
Right.
I'm
Is
not,
the red
not my
boat, has
forte.
that been removed or repaired?
Say it again?
Has the red boat in that picture behind me?
That will be gone this
That will be
weekend.
gone
So
this
it-
weekend,
so it's
and the
still
white
there.
one.
It is not
So
gone yet. We
the
just
boat to
found
the
somebody
right
that
of
will
that
take it.
red boat.
Yeah, we
is
just
that
found somebody
still
to take
there?
them. We were on the phone with them today, and they want to pick them up this weekend, the red one and the big white one. They're going.
Okay. And then the green Mustang you said is still there, correct?
Yes, it
And
is.
then
It's
the
under a car cover finally, like it should have been.
And the repairs to the structure, you made some
we
minor
need to-
things, but you still need time to
To do it, do the work.
do it properly or
Right.
remove it.
Because like we do, we leave there Saturday and we close our business. Then we drive over here to the house. And then we get settled in, we do whatever, stuff in the house, whatnot. Then come the morning, we start working. This past weekend, we worked till 12:45 a.m., getting rid of old wood and stuff like that.
Mr. Chair, if I may change my recommendation.
Well, before you get there, I'm going to go ahead and read into the record.
And we
Second case
honestly
is
don't
sort of-
have the money
is sort of-
for the
okay, we'll
fines.
get back with you in a minute. We're sort of bleeding into each other, and it sounds like something's trying to be done. If we can go ahead and read into the record case number, did we?
34.
21-34 CEB. Go ahead and read that, because they may want to make a decision related to both of those.
Sure. Officer Bravaro, Seminole County Sheriff's Office, Code Enforcement. This is case 2134 CEB, Christopher Bowden, properties located at 305 Miller Road. Violation charge is Seminole County Code, Chapter 95, Section 95.4, is defined in 95.3E. The case was originally heard by this board on August 26, 2021. An order was issued giving the respondents a compliance date of September 23, 2021. An affidavit of noncompliance was filed by myself after reinspection on September 28, 2021. Basing on the finding, facts, conclusions, law, and order issued on August 26, 2021, the Code Enforcement Board issued an order imposing a lien in the amount of $7,000 for 70 days of noncompliance from September 24, 2021 through and including December 2nd, 2021. That fine shall continue to accrue at $100 per day each day the violation continues or is repeated. That concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Any questions on that one for Officer Bavaro? Before I ask him, do you still have something?
No, I'm fine.
Sir?
Okay, and give me just a moment.
Yes, sir.
Just in case there was a consideration whether or not to table this, I'm not sure. They claim work's been done. I just wanted to have those read together. Ma'am, we've heard a lot. If you have anything else to add to either two of these, why the lien shouldn't be imposed, and then they're going to discuss it and make a decision.
When we finally found out this was even going on, because I got stranded over in Clearwater. I've had 3 surgical procedures on my lower back so far. That's why he had to drive me over here, so that I could come and be here. We are working hard every free minute we have, and we finally even got blessed with a couple of young fellas that are going to come with us and help us do more, because they're young and strong, and they can help us do more quicker. Now, I didn't know I needed to get a permit to replace what was already there, the carport, but if I do, I'm more proud to do it. You tell me how, when, where, and I'll do it.
He already did. I'll tell
My
you.
ambition is to please waive these fines and let us have time to get it done and get more than that done. Not just that, but there's more I'm going to be doing besides what's required.
Thank you. Okay, I doubt if the fines will be waived. You can certainly make the request. There may be some consideration on giving you more time. I don't know. But we'll start with the first case.
Officer Bavaro wanted to amend his recommendation.
Back to me, he said no.
I'll leave it up to the board's pleasure.
Okay.
Okay, that being said, I guess we'll conclude the first case, 21-33 CEB. Recommendation is to impose a $7,000 lien. Is there any discussion with the board on that, or a motion? We can, a couple options. We can impose a lien. We can table this to give them some more time. Hold on, please. I don't think there's any other options we have other than...
No, and just to clear the record, I reviewed the file, and there was no due process violation. The notices were sent to the proper place, and there's also a posting of the original hearing notice date. So that's just for your information. But really, what you do is you either impose the lien, which is the request today, and they still have time to come into compliance. The fine will continue to accrue, or if you choose to, you can continue the request to give them a little more time, but the fine continues to accrue until they come into compliance.
Mr. Bass.
I move we continue this until the March 24th meeting.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Bass, second by Mr. Peterson to continue case number 21-33 CEB to the March 24th meeting. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? And the next one, 21-34 CEB, the same recommendation has been made, imposing a lien $7,000. Mr. Bass.
Move we continue this on March 24th.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Bass, second by Mr. Peterson, same motion, continuing this case to our March 24th meeting. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? That's what we've done. We've given you a little more time. March 24th is the meeting. You're going to come back. I suggest you be ready to report out.
Oh, not a problem.
Okay, very good.
Just to make sure I understand this, the fines at this point have not been imposed.
They're imposed, and there's a lien waiting to possibly be imposed. There's fines have been accruing since the violation was noticed in the compliance date. Original compliance date was missed. Those fines have added up. It hasn't got brought back into compliance, which is why you're brought back here, because you're allowed to talk about the lien that was just about to be put on us.
And they continue every day.
Okay, so
All we done is, we just push it out for you to get this done.
if we take a week to get it finished, that's $700 more
That's right.
on it. If we take 2 weeks, that's $1,400 more on
You
it?
call him as soon as you get it done, and let him know you're done.
Oh, you better know that's right. Yes, sir. Because honestly, I'm 67, he's 68, and I'm disabled. We don't have that kind of money.
We understand.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you, we don't. COVID nearly killed our business
You can
last
come
year.
back to us and then ask us,
Pardon, sir?
when this is over, you can come back and ask us to reevaluate whether to impose the lien.
Oh, praise the Lord. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you more than you know.
Thank you all for coming
Get it
in.
done.
No, thank you, all of you, seriously.
Come on. So we're good now, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you. Brings us to case number 21-71, and there are 3 cases total, 20-71 CEB, Sturman Williams, 2401 East 20th Street, Sanford, Florida, 32771. Case number 20-72 CEB, same respondent, same address. Case number 20-73 CEB, same respondent, same address. And Mr. Bavaro will, once we get the respondent settled in, we'll begin.
Mr. Chair, you want me to read every single one of them into the record and then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody okay with that? Yes. Yep. And once you get seated, if I can get your names, please.
Sturman William.
Thank you.
Agatha Butler.
Agatha Butler.
Uh-huh.
And your relation to the case?
A friend.
Okay, thank you. Whenever you're ready, Officer Bavaro.
Thank you. Officer Bavaro, Seminole County Sheriff's Office Code Enforcement, case 2071 CEB, Sturman Williams, property is located at 2400 East 20th Street in Sanford. Violations charged, the Seminole County Land Development Code, Chapter 30, Section 30.1349E, which is all fences shall be maintained in the original upright condition. Case was originally heard by the board on May 27, 2021, and an order was given for the respondents to comply by July 22nd, 2021. Affidavit of noncompliance was filed by myself on July 27, 2021. Affidavit of compliance was filed by myself after reinspection on November 30th, 2021. So requesting the board that based on the findings of facts, conclusions of law and order issued on May 27, 2021, the Code Enforcement Board issued an order reducing the lien, reducing the fine in the amount of administrative costs totaling $384.14, and require these costs be paid within 30 days, or they will revert back to the original amount of $6,500 and constitute a lien on the property. That concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Any questions for Officer Bavaro? Seeing none, go with the next one, please. Well, yeah, did I read that in?
Yes, you did.
Okay, go ahead.
Officer Barrow, Seminole County Sheriff's Office Code Enforcement, case 2072 CEB, Sturman Williams. Property is located at 2400 East 20th Street in Sanford. Violation charges, Seminole County Code, Chapter 95, Section 95.4 is defined in 95.3B, which is uncultivated vegetation. Case was originally heard by the Code Enforcement Board on May 27, 2021. Order was given for the respondents to comply by July 22nd, 2021. An affidavit of noncompliance was filed by myself on July 27, 2021. Affidavit of compliance was filed by myself after reinspection on November 30th, 2021. Basing on the findings of facts, conclusions of law and order issued on May 27, 2021, the Code Enforcement Board issued an order reducing the lien in the amount of the administrative cost totaling $384.14. Required these be paid within 30 days, or the fine will revert back to its original amount of $6,500 and constitute a lien on the property. That concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Any questions on that one? Seeing none, go ahead, sir.
Officer Barrow, Seminole County Sheriff's Office Code Enforcement, case 2073 CEB, Sturman Williams. Property is located at 2401 East 20th Street. Violation charges, Seminole County Code, Chapter 95, Section 95.4 is defined in 95.3A, which is rubbish. The case was originally heard by the Code Enforcement Board on May 27, 2021, and an order was issued giving the respondents a compliance date of July 22, 2021. Affidavit of non-compliance was filed by myself after inspection on July 27, 2021. Affidavit of compliance was filed by myself after reinspection on November 30, 2021. Based on the finding, facts, conclusions of law and order issued on May 27, 2021, the Code Enforcement Board issued an order reducing the lien to administrative costs totaling $384.14. It required these costs be paid within 30 days, or the fine will revert to its original amount of $6,500 and constitute a lien on the property. And now these costs do include the sheriff's office cost and the county clerk's cost totaled together. Mr. Williams, since September, has been in very regular contact with me regarding the property. We met out there probably 3 or 4 times or so. He does have some health concerns that may have contributed to the delay of him getting compliance, but it is, and I don't know, I've been in Sanford like 5 years, probably 5-6 years, and the property looks better now than it has done in all of that time. So I want to congratulate you on a job well done, sir.
Very good. Is that it?
You did a good job on your job.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
It was hard, but I did it. Thank God. Good Lord did it. Yeah. Thank you.
Any questions for Officer Bavaro? What we've got in front of us is 3 separate cases that were found in violation, then found in noncompliance. Fines racked up to $6,500 on each of the 3 cases. They've come to compliance. The recommendation by staff is to not impose that $6,500 lien, but to reduce that amount to $384.14 total for the 3 cases, which is, I think, $128.05.
That is per each case, sir.
Oh, for each case, okay.
Correct.
Okay. $384.14 for each case, and if paid within 30 days, it'll be over. If not paid within 30 days, the $6,500 lien will kick in. That's what we're here for, so everybody's clear, I think, hopefully. So this is your opportunity to, if you have anything to offer, feel free to offer. You heard the recommendation for us.
So you're saying he got 300 and so many dollars times 3 to pay?
If that's what this board decides, that's a recommendation that's on the table here for this board to say yes or no, or which way they want to go.
It totals $1,152.42.
As opposed,
That was your 1,100. You gotta pay 1,100. According to they agree to it.
as opposed to $19,500.
Yes.
Well, how much time do we have?
What is?
If they agree to it, 30 days.
30 days to pay it. You don't have to pay it right now. Yeah, 30 days.
1,100?
Yeah.
Or you can make your own decision.
Can I say something, please?
Well, Yes, go ahead, sir. The floor is yours.
Like I was saying, I'd have been hurt. And all the money that I had, I've been trying to pay doctor's bills, trying to get medication. Every day, I'm fighting with pain from getting hit by a car, like I was telling you all before. And right now, it's been hard for me to even keep my lights on. In fact, she has a friend, she have helped me out trying to get my lights on. I've been sleeping in the dark in my house, hurting and trying to get medication. I'm sitting here right now hurting. Ever since this car hit me, it's been downhill for me. I haven't been able to hardly put my hand on any money. So it's just hard for me right now. I'm trying right now to get myself back together and go on with life. And I wanted to just bring that to you all attention. That's why I've been coming down back and forward, communicating with you all, let you all know my situation. I've been dealing with shingles behind the medicine I've been taking. And at times my leg go out on me, I've fallen down. It's just been hard for me. And for as money concerned, I haven't been able to put my hand on that because I'm on a set income, on disability. So I want to bring this to your attention. The reason being why the property being like that, reason being why I don't have money to do the things I need to do. So I just want to acknowledge that to you all.
Thank you. We appreciate that information. Ms. Haynes?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a recommendation because of Mr. Williams' good faith effort to get everything cleaned up, and he's certainly done his part. I think we should give him until the March 24th date to pay the $1,152.42. That's my
And
motion.
that amount is not solid as well, just so you know.
Right.
Sky's the limit.
My thought was to knock off two of them and just ask him to pay one of them and give some time, not ask him to pay it like right after Christmas. Maybe 60 or 90 days, somewhere in there, but just knock it down to one of them instead of all three. Because we do appreciate what he's doing, and he's done what our job is to coax people to do, and he's done it, and Mr. Bavaro says he's been communicative, and that he's made the property look better than it has in years, and I think we need to express our appreciation for that.
Mr. Bass?
I'd just like to remind the board that the purpose of our board is to encourage people to get stuff done. And Officer Barrow's comment about how well he worked with him, is that correct?
Yes, and if I may add, I believe, Mr. Williams, correct me if I'm wrong, you were the only one that cleaned this property, correct?
Yes, he was the only one.
He did it solely on his own.
No, he had some help at first. You was the only one that cleaned your property.
I had a little help from a friend. He come by and help me out.
I think the vast
Yeah.
majority of this work was done solely by Mr. Williams.
I got
Thank
you.
you.
I'd like to make a motion that we waive all fees on number 20-71.
Wait,
On all three of them?
I'll rescind my
Well, we can
motion.
only do one at a time, so.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Let me
All right, unless
rescind
we-
my
You can do
motion.
them all.
Okay, I make a motion, we rescind all fees for 2071, 2072, and 2073.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Bass, second, I think by Mr. Peterson, caught it first, to rescind all fees. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Mr. Williams, Merry
Merry Christmas.
Christmas.
Ooh, thank you, Jesus. No fees. No fees.
Thank y'all. God bless y'all.
And why don't we go out?
I'm gonna tell you, I want to just say this. I wanna
Keep
just
it
say
clean.
this.
Keep
wanna
it
just
clean.
say
Don't
this.
come back.
I want to just say this. I took care of my dad, and my dad practically died in my arm on this property, in this house. And I'm 64 years old now. And this is why this property is so valuable to me, it's sentimental value. My dad died and left it to me. I inherited that. And I've been struggling, trying to pay the taxes, trying to keep things up. And on with that, getting hurt. That's why I'm so grateful to you all. And God bless y'all
God bless
for what y'all did.
Thank you, we're grateful to you.
Thank you. All right.
Keep it clean. Don't come back.
She said, keep it clean, don't come back.
You know what? I was telling her, y'all gonna see a difference in that. Now that I'm getting point of being good and well, I'm gonna keep it looking nice.
Thank you.
Thank y'all, and God bless y'all.
Thank you.
All right.
That's all of the present people. Do we want to plow through or take a break?
I'm good.
I'm good.
Well, good. I don't think it's going to take us long. Brings us to case,
Thank y'all again.
thank you, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Case number 21-99.
Keep it up.
Yes, sir. 21-99 CEB, Scott Linville, 2352 Sunnyview Drive, Oviedo. And there was one other new case with this gentleman, and then he's got a, I believe it's a lien request?
On page 6.
Yeah, page 6, there's a total of 3 cases. So the case right after we hear this first one will be 21-100 CEB, same respondent, same address, and 21-38 CEB, same respondent, same address, and Officer Hill has all 3 cases. Whenever you're ready.
Officer Hill, Seminole County Sheriff's Office Code Enforcement, East Region. I'm submitting a copy of my PowerPoint to the clerk as Exhibit 1. This is case 2199 CEB, Scott Linville, located at 2352 Sunnyview Drive in Seminole County. Violation charge is Seminole County Code Chapter 95, Section 95.4 is defined in 95.3B, uncultivated vegetation. My initial inspection was on July 2nd, 2021, with notice to respondent on July 22nd and August 19th, with compliance dates on August 8th and September 2nd, with multiple follow-up inspections, including yesterday. The results of my inspection, the violation of uncultivated vegetation remains on the subject property. These photos were taken on my initial inspection on July 2nd, 2021. These photos were taken on the same date. These photos were taken on August 11, 2021. These photos were taken on August 18, 2021. These were taken on September 15, 2021. These photos were taken on October 1st, 2021. These photos were taken on the day of posting on November 18th. These photos were taken yesterday. So the front yard is being maintained by the neighbors. They're alternating, the neighbor on the left, the neighbor on the right, because the property owner has literally walked away from this property. I called him probably over a year ago, left a voicemail, never heard from him. I called him last month, left a voicemail, found an email address, emailed him with no response. Due to the next case in hand, the county has abated the property, so now the neighbors cannot get in the backyard to mow. So the front yard is being maintained by the neighbors. The backyard, you can't get there because it's been secured.
Is that the zip tie we saw on the picture?
Well, that was when I temporarily secured it, but then the county went out and abated it with more chain link fencing, because there was gaps and there was a gate that was unsecured. So the suggested recommendation is based on the testimony evidence presented in case 2199 CEB. Is determined that the respondent, Scott Linville, is the owner of record located at 2352 Sunnyview Drive in Seminole County, in violation or control of the property, and is in violation of Seminole County Code Chapter 95, Section 95.4 is defined in 95.3B. It is further recommended that the Code Enforcement Board issue an order for the respondent to correct the violation on or before midnight of December 19th, 2021. In order to correct the violation, the respondent must remove all the uncultivated vegetation excess of 8 inches in height from the subject property. The respondent does not comply with the order, a fine of $50 will be imposed for each day the violation continues or is repeated after compliance. This concludes my presentation.
Any questions on that one?
I just have a basic question. How does he get in to cut it if they've put a chain link fence around it?
Nobody does.
So,
I mean, if the property owner came back, he would have to resecure the fence himself, because the next case is a stagnant jacuzzi and it was unsecured. So that's why the county was contacted to abate it. So when they abate a property, they don't leave any access points to get into the backyard.
right, okay.
Next one. 21-100 CEB.
Officer Hill, Seminole County Sheriff's Office Code Enforcement, East East Region. I'm submitting a copy of my PowerPoint to the clerk as Exhibit 1. This is case 2100 CEB, Scotlandville, located at 2352 Sunnyview Drive, Seminole County. Violation charges, Seminole County Code, Chapter 95, Section 95.4, is defined in 95.3F, stagnant jacuzzi, water not flowing, moving, dirty. My initial inspection was August 16th, 2021, with notice to respondent on August 16th and September 10th, with compliance dates of September 2nd and September 17th, with follow-up inspections including yesterday. The results of my inspection, the violation of stagnant jacuzzi remains on the subject property. This photo was taken on my initial inspection on August 16th, 2021. This photo was taken on September 9th, 2021. This photo was taken on September 21st. This photo was taken October 1st. These photos were taken on the day of posting on November 18th. This photo was taken yesterday. Based on the testimony evidence presented in case 21-100 CEB, is determined that the respondent, Scott Linville, is the owner of record located at 2352 Sunnyview Drive in Seminole County, in possession or control of property, and is in violation of Seminole County Code, Chapter 95, Section 95.4, is defined in 95.3F. It is further recommended the Code Enforcement Board issue an order for the respondents to correct the violation on or before midnight of December 19th, 2021. In order to correct the violation, the respondent must remove the stagnant water from the jacuzzi. If the respondent does not comply with the order, a fine of $250 will be imposed for each day the violation continues or is repeated. This concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Any questions on that one? We'll take care of these two and then jump to the lien after that. Case number 21-99 CEB, the recommendation is on uncultivated vegetation is compliance by December 19th or $50 a day fine. Any motion on that?
Maybe we accept staff's recommendations as
Motion.
presented.
Motion by Mr. Bast, second by Ms. Patton to accept staff's recommendation as presented. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? That passes. 21-100 CEB. The recommendation is compliance same date by December 19th or a fine of $250 per day. That's the stagnant water jacuzzi.
Move we accept Officer Hill's recommendation as presented.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Bass, second by Mr. Peterson to accept staff's recommendation as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And it takes us to the lien request on the same respondent on page 6. It's item 9 on the agenda, case number 21-38 CEB, same respondent, same address. Officer Hill.
Officer Hill, Seminole County Sheriff's Office, Code Enforcement, East Region. This is case 2138 CEB, Scotlandville, located at 2352 Sunnyview Drive in Seminole County. Violation charge is Seminole County Code, Chapter 95, Section 95.4, is defined in 95.3C, remains or removal of a structure. This case was originally heard by the Code Enforcement Board on August 26, 2021. An order was issued given the respondent compliance date of September 14, 2021. An affidavit of noncompliance was filed by the Code Enforcement Officer after a reinspection on September 15, 2021. Based on the findings of fact, conclusions of law and order issued on August 26, 2021, the Code Enforcement Board I'm asking the Code Enforcement Board to issue an order imposing a lien in the amount of $7,900 for 79 days of noncompliance from September 15, 2021 through and including December 2, 2021. And the fine shall continue to accrue at $100 per day for each day the violation continues or is repeated after December 2, 2021.
Thank you. Any questions, Officer Hill? This is a lien request asking us to impose a lien in the amount of $7,900 for 79 days of noncompliance.
Motion to accept recommendation.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Patton, second by Ms. Hames to accept staff's recommendation imposing the lien. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. The next case on the next page, page 7. Agenda item number 10, 21-43 CEB, Linda Westfall, Michael Westfall, and Tina Westfall, 921 Penfield Cove, Sanford, Florida, 32773. There's another case following it, same respondent, same address, 21-44 CEB. And that's the two cases we have here. Officer Bavaro.
Officer Bavaro, Seminole County Sheriff's Office, Code Enforcement, case 2143 CEB, properties located at 921 Penfield Cove. Violation is Seminole County Code, Chapter 95, Section 95.4, defined in 95.3A. Case was originally heard by the Code Enforcement Board August 26, 2021. An order was issued giving the respondent compliance date of September the 9th, 2021. Affidavit of non-compliance was filed by myself on September 14, 2021. Based on the findings, fact, conclusion of law and order issued on August 26, Code Enforcement Board issued an order imposing a lien in the amount of $8,400 for 84 days of non-compliance from September 10th, 2021 through and including today's date of December 2nd, 2021, and the fine shall continue to accrue at $100 per day for each day the violation continues or is repeated. That concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Any questions for Officer Bavaro?
Does everything still look like it does in those pictures?
Everything is the same. The respondents we have not heard of at all. I got a call from somebody else, governmental, looking to make contact as well and could not make contact with the individuals at the property. We did send mosquito control out because we had a report of an additional violation, which they had no contact either. So nobody's heard or seen from them to my knowledge.
Motion to accept officer's recommendation.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Patton, second by Mr. Peterson, to accept staff's recommendation deposing a lien of $8,400 for 84 days of noncompliance. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Brings us to the next case, same respondent, same address. This is case number 21-44 CEB.
Officer Bavaro, Seminole County Sheriff's Office Code Enforcement, case 2144 CEB. Property is located at 921 Penfield Code. Violation charge of Seminole County Code, Chapter 95, Section 95.4 is defined in 95.3E, which is abandoned vehicles. The case was originally heard by the board on August 26, 2021. An order was issued given the response's compliance date of September 9, 2021. Affidavit of non-compliance was filed by myself on September 14, 2021. Based on the findings of facts, conclusions of law and order issued on August 26, 2021, the Code Enforcement Board issued an order imposing a lien in the amount of $8,400 for 84 days of noncompliance from September 10th through and including today's date of December 2nd, 2021. And the fine shall continue to accrue at $100 a day per day for each day the violation continues or is repeated. That concludes my presentation.
Any questions for Officer Bavaro? Seeing none, recommendation is to impose a lien for $8,400 for 84 days of noncompliance.
Move to accept the officer's.
Motion by Ms.
Findings.
Peterson to accept the recommendation.
Second.
Second by Ms. Hames. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed. Brings us to agenda item number 12, case number 21-45 CEB. It's on page 9. Raquel Benavides, 3530 Celery Avenue, Sanford, Florida, 32771. Officer Bavaro.
Officer Bavaro, Seminole County Sheriff's Office Code Enforcement, case 2145 CEB. Property is located at 3530 Celery Avenue. Violations charged of Seminole County Code, Chapter 95, Section 95.4 is defined in 95.3A, which is rubbish. Case was originally heard by the board on August 26, 2021. An order was issued giving the respondents a compliance date of September 9, 2021. Affidavit of non-compliance was filed by myself after reinspection on September 14, 2021. Based on the findings and facts, conclusions of law and order issued on August 26, 2021. Code Enforcement Board issued an order imposing a lien in the amount of $8,400 for 84 days of noncompliance through September 10th, 2021 through and including today's date of December 2nd, 2021. The fine shall continue to accrue at $100 per day for each day the violation continues or is repeated. That concludes my presentation.
Question. Have you had any contact with that person?
No, I believe they did show up at the hearing. I did get a phone call that they needed more time. I went out there, did a reinspection, called back. It was either, I can't say for sure I called back, so I want to strike that. It was either I was unable to make contact or they weren't called back. I believe the man had a thick accent, if I recall correctly, and I couldn't understand a lot of it, but we have not had any contact other than that last phone call.
Just checking.
Thank you. One question. Just noticing, just caught my eye. This recommendation and the recommendation of the previous respondent are identical in not only the amount of days, but the days that they were non-compliant. Is it just a coincidence? The dates of non-compliance are the same as well.
I believe those were standard recommendations that we do, usually 2 weeks out.
Well, it has a non-compliance on both of these cases, September 10th through December 2nd. They're both 84 days. They were both 8,400. It may be. I just want to make sure we're,
I believe that the original compliance dates are both these cases were the same.
Yeah, I'd have,
Because they're coming back on the same date for the lien here. It's going to be
okay.
exactly the same.
Okay, all right.
my notes indicate that as well.
Okay, good. So the recommendation is $8,400 lien to be placed on this particular case.
Make a motion to accept the officer's recommendation.
Second?
Motion by Mr. Peterson, second by Ms. Patton, accept the staff's recommendation as presented. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Brings us to what appears to be the last active case for today on page 13, agenda item 16, case number 21-64, CEB Benjamin Hamilton, 2025 Jones Avenue, Sanford, 32771. Officer Bavaro.
I believe this was a special request. I don't know if the clerk wants to provide the board the request.
Mr. Hamilton did contact me and he asked to be placed on the agenda for the October 28th hearing, so I had done so. The gentleman flew in from Texas, but found out too late that we had to cancel that hearing. So he has emailed me some information for the board and pictures showing that he's been trying to work on keeping the property.
Madam Clerk, do you have a copy of that?
I will look at it.
Okay. Or if I can put the pictures on the screen so I can see them. Oh, no, the other pictures. His pictures.
He's, if you may want to check, it says he's got the permit, he's purchased the permits. It looks like he's trying to deal with this. I don't know if you have a way of checking the permits while I scan through this real quick. He's got some professional cards of who he says may be working on this.
Can we just put this up for
Oh,
everybody?
that would be a good idea.
This is part of it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Is that good for the board? Do you want me to keep going?
It works for me.
Can you show the next page?
What's next?
That's my email back to him advising it was canceled, but he already told me by that time.
Can you just give us a synopsis of where we are in
Yeah.
this case?
Let me provide the pictures that he...
So is he making progress?
So, I don't know when those pictures were taken, but I do have images from the last posting that I did on the property.
Arguably, though, this is not on the agenda for today, right?
This
Yeah.
is on the agenda.
Yeah.
But it was-
Special request.
But it was special request from October that was pushed off to January.
Well, no, because he was in my office on October 28th and asked to be placed on the December 2nd.
Okay, just want to make sure.
So this was the last image presented at the last hearing. I drove by before the hearing today, and nothing in the right picture has really changed, and the grass is significantly taller in the left picture today. So that's why I'm curious on when the images Mr. Hamilton provided in the email were taken. But in my opinion, it is significantly worse today than it is on September 9th. Now, this was also the property, back to the third one. This was also the property with significant or some history to it, as far as a stolen vehicle being recovered at the property, somebody fleeing law enforcement was hiding in the house, and then the structure fire. We did transfer the case over to the building division to look at the structure itself, because it's a vacant, non-homesteaded lot. It'll be eligible for their abatement program, and I just looked to see if there was any permits pulled on the property appraiser. As of today, I don't see any permits. Well, hold on, let me look. There was the last permit on 7/26/21 was a re-roof. I did speak to Mr. Hamilton on October 5th. Really not much came up of it, other than he said that he did hire somebody to remove a lot of the debris. They took his money and ran off, never completed the work. I asked if he had contacted law enforcement. He said yes. In trying to find through history checks where this law enforcement report was, it was determined that the law enforcement was contacted for the fire, not for the theft of the money or the civil matter of the money. And so I know Mr. Hamilton lives out of state. The last case we had in 2016, it was pretty responsive, more responsive than this one. So that's kind of where we stand. To conclude, my opinion, it's worse off today than it was on September 9th. And then, of course, if this structure looks to be abandoned, or if this property looks to be abandoned, and there's illegal dumping going on, without removing it quickly, there's going to be nothing but more illegal dumping going on.
Just trying to get a handle on what you guys.
So after the last meeting and he had flown in and get all that, has he received notice for this particular meeting and was aware to be here?
He requested to be placed on as a special request, but he knew he would not be able to fly back, which is why he emailed that information.
Oh, so he knew he wouldn't be here to present, and this is his presentation? Okay.
So just give me a second. Unfortunately, I cannot make it to the December 2nd, 2021 due to obligations that I must attend to here in Texas. So he's asking that you please waive all fines and fees that have been and are still occurring at this address. I can hopefully meet with the Code Enforcement Board in person of January 27, 2022, as posted on the doors, and also we discussed in your office. So that's why I'm a little concerned. Yeah, so, I mean,
My thought is to kick it to the January 27th, but not do anything about the fines or anything fees accruing. And let him show up on the 27th and show us pictures of all this glorious work he's done and argue his case then.
yeah, because even though he knows about today, technically, it's noticed for January.
Right.
And so you can always relate back that he should keep working and move towards compliance, and it'd be great if he was in compliance by January 27th, and then all the fines that have accrued up to that point can be discussed with the board.
So do we
I would take no
formally table it?
action. I would take no action.
No
Take
action.
no
Yeah,
action.
gotcha.
It just needs to get finished.
Yep.
Okay. It looks like what we have left are cases not heard. You can read those on your own. Approval of the minutes of September 23rd, 2021. Do I have a motion for that approval?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Hames, second by Mr. Peterson. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Confirmation of the next meeting date, January 27th, 2022. If you can't be there, please let Madam Clerk know. Other business, not sure if it's business, but I'd like to say goodbye to Mike and wish him the best. This is his last meeting, and I tell you what, I've served with him for a long time, and there's nobody better to have sitting next to me and kicking me under the table when I let somebody talk too long and being so laser focused on the issues when he asks people about it. Yeah, it's been a pleasure, let me tell you.
I appreciate it. It's not if I can say that.
Absolutely.
I just wanted to say that it's been an honor and a pleasure to serve with this board and serve with the work y'all do, and I know it's probably not as appreciated as it should be appreciated, but we do appreciate what y'all have done. And Pat, what you do, and I know it goes unheralded, but it's just a yeoman's job, and we just appreciate your help with the legal advice and all this board that does it for the gratis and just serving this county. So it's been an honor to be a part of this, and this is simply because it's just time for me to move on, let somebody new do this, but I've enjoyed it many, I really have. So thank y'all so much for.
Thank you.
So, I appreciate the card. That was so sweet. Very sweet.
I heard the pensions checks start on the first.
I'll rush to the mail actually, Alan.
Yeah.
Would you like me to train you in how to be a consultant?
That's what I do for a living.
So if you turn to the front of your binder, the proposed dates are there. Tear it out, please. I tore mine out. Take this back to your office, to your assistants, to whoever calendars things for yourselves. Please look at them, make sure that you're available. If you're not, let Pat know as soon as possible. Again, no meeting in June, no meeting in November. December gets moved up. And then Mr. Bass will have these, so if he'd ever want to come back and just say hello, you know where we are.
Mr. Chairman, just a
Yes,
quick
ma'am.
question. I saw an email a week ago maybe about the ethics training. Is that on for December, what was it, the 8th?
I believe that's what the email said. So it did include the contact information if you're interested in attending.
Okay, I'll go back and look at it.
That's not something I normally coordinate, but I just try to pass it on to everybody in case they're interested in it.
Okay.
I've got the 7th here, Tuesday the 7th.
Tuesday the 7th.
What time?
It's what, 8 o'clock. 8
Here?
o'clock. Yes, in this room this time.
Oh, I didn't see that email.
Yeah, that's what I've got, so double check it, but I
Okay.
logged it in as the 7th.
8 o'clock, like in the morning?
Yeah.
And, Mr. Chairman, you may need to have nominations and a vote for a vice chair at the January meeting, since Mr. Bass's term does not expire until March.
Thank you, almost forgot. So be thinking about, we'll get word out to the parties that aren't here today, if anybody might be interested in filling Mr. Bass's shoes. At the next meeting, we can handle that until our next election, which is next year. All right, that being said, nothing else, we'll go ahead and adjourn. Thank you.